Live from the Dunkin Latte Lounge.
Welcome to the Dunkin Latte Lounge. Of course, my name is Garrett. Here, your host, your Latte Dunkin host today. But the cool thing about this, as you know, if you watch these interviews, it's all about introducing to artists that are already out there doing their thing, the ones that you get in on the ground floor, and then when they're selling out Madison Square Garden, you're like, I was there watching his Dunkin Latte Lounge months ago. So today we welcome Jonah Kagen to the show. Jonah, welcome aboard to the Dunkin Latte Lounge.
Hello, people. How's it going?
It's so interesting, like reading your story, reading how you got started, getting inspired by grandpa, but as opposed to like, hey, what was the first day you picked up a guitar? Let's just jump into the music, because at the end of the day, that's where people are hearing you and streaming you from. But I want to take it to college as opposed to, fast forward through life a little bit. Okay. I know my college experience, my roommate played guitar. He was decent, and not to your quality and height, but he would just open up the door in our dorm room sometimes, and almost like a Pied Piper, it would be a free concert. People would just walk by and walk in. For you, playing guitar in college, was it very similar, where people would always ask you to play Wonderwall and and songs like that, or it was more like, hey, I'm just gonna play. If you want to sit and chill, by all means.
I guess that is the stereotype, isn't it? The guy that brings the guitar to the party and stuff like that. Unfortunately, that was not me at all. I actually was very, very private about my music in high school and then into college. And it wasn't, I just started posting things because it was a weird thing. I had this like very distinct difference between my college life and what I was doing there and the person I was at that school versus what I was like trying to be and what I was putting online. Because I was playing soccer in college and my whole life was just like my team and my school and stuff. So not many people actually knew that I did it until I started posting. But I was very like, I didn't want anybody to hear me playing or singing or doing anything like that. And now, obviously, it's a little bit different.
People know about it. Well, let me turn the tables on you with your psychology degree. Like, what does it say about you having two different personalities of not wanting the world to know your talents versus what you were doing every day? Obviously, you were passionate, but you're even more passionate about the music that even we hear today.
Yeah, maybe I'm just a raging sociopath. I'm not actually trying. I don't think I have the qualifications to diagnose myself just yet. I just have the undergrad, but
okay.
No, I think I don't know. I've always kind of fought that a little bit, where it's like the modesty and hard work, just put your head down, do your own thing, versus confidence and putting things out there and making sure you show what you can do. But it's weird with music, because the only way that you get people to hear is if you present yourself. And if you say like, here is my music, especially if the music you're presenting is like a piece of your soul, it's very scary. So I always kind of towed that line. And then it hasn't been until very recently that I think I've come to terms with like, that is a very good thing to be able to show yourself and to be intimate with your fans and to show things that like represent you. So I'm much more comfortable with it now. But that's not to say I'm not still, chronically ill, maybe.
No one, not like that. But it's weird though, because you hear it a lot where you put something out, you do something, and you're your own worst critic, as they say. And like, you don't know what it is, you don't know how good it is, you haven't really pieced it all together. But then someone hears it and they have no judgments whatsoever, and they hear it and they go, wow, that's amazing. But to you, you're like, I don't know about it just yet, right? So it's like, why can't we as people see what we're doing and be happy about that right off the bat? I get it. Like,
trust me, that would be great if I could do that. I think I
think for all of us, I mean,
100%. But I've come to terms also with the fact that like I'm never going to be think that everything I put out is awesome or everything I do is like the greatest thing in the world. But it is. Somebody told me that like every single song at this point, once you get to the point where people are there to listen and they care, it's like every single thing that you put out is somebody's favorite song. Right. And that put it into perspective for me, where it was like, even these things that I'm picking apart and saying, well, like I messed up the guitar part right there, I did this right here, or I could have been better, or that line's this, somebody really connected with that, and that's their favorite song. And that to me is like, far and above more important than anything else. And that's why I do music, is just so that one person could like it or one person could connect with it. So I'm much more comfortable with that now. For sure.
Well, let's go back to another first. When you decided to post just any music on social media, like what, like obviously you were making music. It wasn't like you made music for the first day and like, let me post this on TikTok right now. So what was it for you to say, you know what, I'm putting it out there? Was it a friend? Was it yourself? Was it was it just going, you know what, I want the world to hear what I'm doing, you know?
No, it was my sister who is still works with me today. She's part of my management team. So my sister had done she's 8 years older than I am. So she's kind of like, you know, she took all the difficult stuff and then just pooped it out to me. That's been my sister's role in all of it, was to just do the hard stuff first. Yeah, exactly.
Simplify it for you.
And do I feel bad about it? Not even a little bit. No, I do not. But she did like 8 years of digital advertising or digital marketing for brands and like bigger companies. That was like her job. And so when TikTok and social media started booming during the pandemic, she was like, I know how much you want to do this. Have you considered, like, why don't you just give it a try? Like, you have to put stuff out. And I was like slowly putting stuff out on Instagram and things like that. And then she was like, just, you know, I know you're going to be upset if you don't fully try. And so I started doing it. And then we sat down and we put together, this was like early pandemic. We sat down at the kitchen table and spent about 3 hours putting together this like plan. And we talked about it every single day about how we were going to roll out our stuff on social media and what we were going to do. And then something like 5 or 6 videos in, something blew up. And blew up at the time was a lot smaller than what blow up is now, because blow up now, you know, it's absurd. But
yeah, the word blow up in TikTok, just like anything, has levels for everybody and anyone.
Of course. So it was, you know, people started to care, and then people started knocking on the door and all this stuff. And then we just went full throttle into it, I think. And
well, now with the follow-up question, with it being your sister and part of the management team, did the sister part come out and say the words, "I told you so"?
I don't know that she's ever directly said those words to me, but
with her eyes,
oh,
she
yeah.
did.
No. Yeah, she's around does too much stuff with me these days for me to not see that in everything. Yeah, I'm sure she's proud of that one for sure, but we're both proud of it. And to be completely honest, as funny as that is, it is, we both see it as a win, and everything we do is a win for us.
Of course.
Because, you know, it was just us at the table talking about it. And now we're here speaking to people, speaking to you, speaking to like that, all those little things. I think we try to take it in stride and take a step back and be like, this is really awesome. And it's cool for like our family and for our parents to see that and everything like that too. It's really fun.
Well, let's talk about the music that we're going to get into in just a minute. Let's break down some of the songs. What are we getting today? As a fan, I say, please do not tell me anything. I want to learn about it like day one, you know, and almost like a, you know, behind the music type situation, but here at the Dunkin Lounge. But yeah, so let's break down the first song that you're going to give us.
Well, I don't know the order, but I don't know what's
you know what. Here's the beautiful thing too. You're in charge, so
okay, all right, fantastic.
You tell us the order. That's the order we're going in.
Then I'll tell you this order. So the first one is "Hill That I'll Die On," which is one of my favorite songs that I have ever written, and I got to write it with some other really cool artists that I was living with at the time.
We talking one bedroom and everybody's sharing.
We're talking a house, all right.
Okay,
we're talking,
right.
You know, this was more recent.
I was making it worse than it actually was.
No, this is more recent. I will say there are many songs that I wrote in a, you know, like 2x4 closet sort of situation. So don't get me wrong. It's I've had those periods, but this one, we had a house, we had a nice little house. But we were writing it outside in the backyard. It was a beautiful day. And it was kind of like the first time I started to write something that I felt was really, the sound was very true to what I wanted to be as a musician and to where I had come from and everything like that. So it's just a song about kind of being there for somebody when they're at their absolute lowest and saying that no matter what goes on, you're the hill that I will die on. So I'm going to be there. Don't, you know, just keep the light on for me is basically the message of the song. And it's just a night. The actual recorded version also is stripped and acoustic, just like this live one is. So I think it's I love this song.
Take me to the moment though. Like you said, there was the first time you actually felt like this is what I want to be doing, and in the voice I want to be doing it in. And is it almost like A Beautiful Mind, where like all the numbers are going across, and it's almost like this euphoric feeling? Like, what's it like knowing it's like this is something, right? I have something, you know?
That's it. Yeah. All the psychopathic voices in my head that we talked about earlier, they were just coming together to tell me what I needed to do. No, it was, yeah, it felt good because being a musician is a very weird thing, especially when there are other people that are invested in listening, because it's like you're constantly balancing your own interest and your own mental health with the way that you're being received by others and perceived by others, and the way that other people that are distributing your music are seeing your music. It's a very like complicated thing. And also, if something does well, it feels good. So then you start making more stuff like that, even if it's not what you really like. And I think everybody goes through this sort of like up down progression of this music feels good, and then it doesn't feel good, and then this feels good. And I think this was the first one I had total clarity on. I was like, no
like
part of me.
The clouds moved away, and it's
Yeah.
a sunny sky all of a sudden, and you're just looking at the sun, and
that was it. No part of me was at all. And it was, you know, something I made with my friends in the backyard. It was a beautiful day. Like it was, yeah, it felt great. And I think I've used that song as a template, and that was the way that I felt writing that song as a template for all the stuff that I've done moving forward now. So it's really
yeah, I always wonder, like you were talking, the way you described it, like it just came over, and it's just like, what's it like to have that feeling, knowing like I got something, like I don't know what it is, but I got something. And
it's a double-edged sword a little bit, because it's
right.
it's like hitting like a really nice golf shot. I don't know how many people are going to relate to this, but like golf sucks when you play bad. That's just what happens, you know, like it's the worst thing in the world. And then you hit one good shot and you're like, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life every single day until I find that feeling again. It's kind of similar to that, where it's like, not every song, you kind of got to run the water till it, you know, stops being brown, like till it runs clear. And I think that feeling of getting something that's really so deeply right is not, it is rare, but it's what every songwriter's chasing. So I guess it's like, just try to, and for me, it happens when I don't think as much, and when
how funny, just like in anything, like, you know, someone looking for love, they're going out on dates, and then all of a sudden they're at their local Dunkin, and all, you know, the love of their life comes in. See what I did there? But
I saw that was good. Yeah.
Next, so tell us about the next song too. I mean, how do we go from like, we start all the way at the top of the hill? I mean,
no, this is a good story too. The next song is called Colorado, and it's very funny. It goes back all the way to the early pandemic period when we were putting together stuff. And so I think a lot of people do that like open verse thing on TikTok now, or on Instagram, like, or whatever,
side by side. And
yeah, it's like, hey. They're like, all right. And so when the first ever thing that I had, the first ever song of mine that I had do really well, was one of those, but I didn't call it open verse. This was like a while before that became like a really big thing. Yeah. And I called it a co-write with me, something like that. And so right around that time, I also put a video about this song, Colorado. So this was like 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that, when I put a video of this song out. And then every single day until I released it, there was something on my feed about that song, about somebody wanting me to release that song. And it got to the point where I was just like, you know, that was a very, that song came out of a moment that I was very much rooting myself and like trying to figure out what I wanted, and to figure out how I was going to get my music heard by people and all this stuff. So it felt like it needed its time to see the light. So I finished it in 2 years later or something like that, and then put it out. So this is like a stripped version. It's me and an electric guitar, which is rare for me doing that. I'm usually got the acoustic, and just the electric guitar and a mic. So it's cool. I like the way that I did that one. I think it'll be
I mean,
cool.
without giving actual handles, but I'm sure you've seen the best of the best and the okay versions of verses from your music too. I mean, do you literally take time and try to watch as many as possible? I'm not saying all of them, but when they come across your feed, you're like, all right, I'm gonna stop down and see how this goes.
Well, it was tough because the first time, I haven't done that in a long time, because I didn't want to push it. You know, it was something
Right.
when I did it the first time, it was so natural and like it happened very organically. It wasn't me trying to be like, do this so that I can get views. It was like I didn't have the song finished. So when I put that out, I was genuinely curious to hear what people were going to connect with it, how they were going to relate to it. And it was like, I think there was something like 5,000 duets on it or something in
It's
that
still
first year.
like that's crazy. I mean,
So
like,
it's hard to like, and I remember at the beginning, I was like, I'm going to watch every single one of these.
Everyone.
I'm going to make sure, and I'm going to comment. I'm going to make sure I do this, but
I'll get dinner tomorrow. Don't worry about it.
And I did, right, exactly. And it got to the point where I was just like trying to make sure everybody knew how much I appreciated them for engaging and for sharing their story. But it was impossible to see all of them. So I think that's
Jonah,
true. It's just,
well, not to say to reach the peak of, people doing duets, but once the Mr. Rubber Chicken account covers your song, you've reached it. Not the Grammys, not getting your song in a Tom Cruise movie. When Mr. Chicken, and all it is a guy with a rubber chicken.
that's it.
If
that's happened, I haven't seen that video. If that has,
no,
happened,
I'm saying that's the peak. That's
okay.
That's what we're striving for now.
I was about to say it. Now, if that wasn't a goal before, but it certainly is now. I think
we're going to get off this interview and you're going to watch and you'll be like, all right, you know what? That's right. No, I don't need a Grammy. I don't need a Tom Cruise movie. They would be nice.
Oh, nothing. Yeah. Now that's all I'm thinking about. But I think that relationship of making sure people feel appreciated for listening and for, I do so much. And it's such a tough thing to when there's so many people. I'm so grateful that there are so many people that want to say something or want to engage. And if I could comfortably, say thank you to everybody and to show how much I appreciate them, I would. But that's that balance of being the artist with your mental health and making sure that you can
put your phone down. Yeah, of course. All right. So what's our last song that we're going to break down today?
The last one is unreleased. This is one that
is that the name or
no,
I've done that once. I was like, oh, what's it called? And it was like unreleased, and it was like a back and forth. And then like 2 seconds later, I realized where we were at, and it's called unreleased. So
damn, no, sorry,
I don't look stupid, but
it is an unreleased song called Nobody's Angry. It's a little bit, and I haven't even actually teased this one. Well, funny enough, I've teased part of the instrumental, which has gone viral coincidentally. It's actually like the most viral video I've ever had. But it's this just me playing the guitar. So people don't actually know that the song is this, but it's that song.
They do now. I mean,
I guess they do now. Yeah, I guess I spoiled that one, but it's that song. And this one, I wrote this a while ago, and this was kind of the mecca of that feeling that I was talking about.
Right.
And I wrote it in maybe 20 minutes. It happened so fast. But it's almost like I was just kind of talking, and I think the story in it just kind of poured out of me a little bit, and I wrote it by myself. And it just was something I wanted to say that just kind of pooped out, like I said. And so I think the story in this is one that resonates with me deeper than I think any other song that I've written. And it's basically from the perspective of my mom or my family, because I left for school so early. I went to boarding school when I was 13, and I left home. And I had always had all these, big ambitions and dreams and all this stuff. And my parents had to sacrifice so much. So I've always felt a little bit of a burden, a little bit of a lot of burden and guilt for kind of, leaving to go try to pursue something or to try to, and they of course supported me because they're wonderful. So this was, them basically saying, nobody's angry at you. we're all still here, ready for you to come home whenever you want to. So.
And I appreciate you breaking down these songs, because we hear songs that we might have heard before or maybe unfamiliar, but at least you have background too. And I know a lot of artists, and I don't know if you're like that, where it's like, oh, you can interpret it every way you want, but from where it's coming from, the source, like I might have a different perspective of it for myself, but at the end of the day, you're the one that created it. You have that story of where those thoughts and feelings and passion came from. So I appreciate you opening it up and breaking it down for us.
Oh, of course. I have, some of my favorite songs in the world. There's one in particular that it always makes me think of my high school experience or my college experience. And it's about somebody's relationship with alcoholism, not even close to what I what I was kid. I was not an alcoholic in high school by any means, not at all. Don't endorse that. Only Dunkin, right?
Yeah.
Right. But my I doesn't make knowing the origin of that song doesn't make me any less attracted to it or any less drawn to it. So I think I don't know. I know a lot of artists are very personal with their stuff and they want it to be perceived this way, but no, I'm happy to share my story about anything. But I want people to take it the way that they take it. I just think this is it's very specific, and you can definitely hear what I'm talking about. But what I hope is that you hear that story and it evokes some sort of other personal story that you connect.
The snowball effect. Yeah, of course.
It. Yeah, that's all right. I hope.
Jonah, all right. So before we shut off our cameras and let you do your thing, I shut it off because if I keep my camera on, it's weird because it's just one man in a Zoom room and in the Dunkin lounge staring. So I let everybody go. But the hardest question, as we've been chatting for the last 20 plus minutes now,
oh geez,
Jonah, you walk into a Dunkin.
I knew it was going to be something like that. Go ahead, keep going.
And you see everybody, but you can bring one person along and sit there and have a iced latte with and just shoot the ish. It could be anybody in the world, real, fake, whatever.
Oh,
who would that be as you sip on some Dunkin lattes and just pick their brain?
I mean, I have an answer that immediately popped into my head. It's going to be disappointing for a lot. I don't know if it's going to be disappointing. No, it's going to be disappointing. Okay.
This goes back to being unsure and be confident in this answer.
I know. I just feel like people are going to think I'm going to say like Elton John or something like that. But The Rock. I would like to sit down with The Rock.
I love Dwayne.
I think me and The Rock would be best friends if he ever, would answer my messages, whatever. But well, I would do it all. I would grab a coffee. I would work out with him. I don't know. We could make some songs together. I guess he's a musician now. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure we've heard the hip hop side of him, but I'm sure we can hear the acoustic side. We've heard the Disney side of him. So, I mean, all right.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's the thing. Everybody typically goes, oh, I'm gonna Michael Jackson, and that's great. That's not to knock anybody, but you get the real answer. That's why I say go with that guy. So I appreciate
all I thought about it.
Jonah Kagen. All right. So let's run through all the socials before we get out of here and let you perform too. Cool. So TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, you name it. Where can we find you at if we're not already following?
I made it very easy for you.
Thank you.
It's just my name. That's it. Everywhere. It's just Jonah Kagen. Jonah Kagen on Instagram, Jonah Kagen on TikTok, Jonah Kagen on Facebook, Jonah Kagen on Spotify, Apple Music, all of that is just my name. That's it.
Of course, if you want to come back and watch this over and over again, just like many other interviews, DunkinLatteLounge.com, and on social too. Maybe if we take the clip of The Rock and put it out there, we can get his attention. So and use that hashtag Dunkin Latte Lounge. So Jonah, thank you so much for sitting down and shooting it with us, and we appreciate you stopping by the Dunkin Latte Lounge.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me.
I don't notice those eyes becoming hopeless. All the things you never tell to me, the side that people seldom see. It's scary, the burdens that you've buried. that I would love to share with you. Just call and I'll be there for you. 'Cause darling, when it hurts, I won't let you burn. It's not that kind of fire. Just give me the lighter. And even at your worst, you're the hill that I'll die on. So just leave a light on for me. Honey, please believe me, I've danced with this feeling. I know what the best parts of the world look like through blurry eyes. You're colorblind, it's messy, leads to second guessing. And when you feel you're finally giving up, the last thing you should doubt is us. 'Cause darling, when it hurts, I won't let you burn. It's not that kind of fire. Just give me the lighter. And even at your worst, you're the hill that I'll die on. So just leave a light on for me. I had a dream of you and me in Colorado, laughing and crying, drinking wine straight from the bottle. We were dancing with no music. I was lost in those deep brown eyes. I had a dream that you met me in New York City. The sun fell on your face and you seemed somehow twice as pretty. All the noise and then the world stopped when you pulled me close and told me that you loved me. I guess I have to close my eyes to see you. Guess I have to leave real life to feel you. So I'll meet you here again when I'm asleep. 'Cause I can only have you in my dreams. As long as I can dream, I'll dream of Colorado, where I have your whole heart and that's the only thing that I know. You look up and touch my face 'cause you're in love, you know my name, and we're happy. But I guess I have to close my eyes to see you. Guess I have to leave real life to feel you. So I'll meet you here again when I'm asleep. 'Cause I can only have you in my dreams. Or are these nightmares? Please be real. Please be right there. When I wake up, will you need me? Or are you happy living without me? I guess I have to close my eyes to see you. Guess I have to leave this life to have a moment with the real you. So I'll meet you here again when I'm asleep. 'Cause I can only have you in my dreams. so far from the village, I'm sure you think it all looks different. I can promise you it's never changed, and it won't for a minute. The fountain and its glory's just the same as when you left it. I remember when you said you're leaving, and exactly how you said it. We know you said you hated here, and we know you didn't mean it. We know you had to go out there and find a deeper meaning. The kids next door grew up just fine. Their mom still talks about you. Don't feel bad, honey, they'll never know that they grew up without you. Watching the water fill your eyes. Nobody's angry, hun, it's fine. You can do anything you like. Nobody's angry, hun, it's fine. There's tea in the kitchen, change your clothes, take off your makeup, come on home. Everyone's waiting just inside. Nobody's angry, hun, it's fine. It's the same thing with your sister. Boy, I'll tell you what I told her. Said you'll come running back to family. Swear you'll get it when you're older. But now she's got a daughter who changed her whole perspective. But when she said she didn't need us, at the time she thought she meant it. So if you find yourself on 16, dirty laundry in your hands, don't think even for a second that it makes you any less of a man. Cause I swear to God that we could be a million miles apart, but the boy who ran around this house will always have my heart. Now I'm watching the water fill your eyes. Nobody's angry, hun, it's fine. You can do anything you like. Nobody's angry, hun, it's fine. There's tea in the kitchen, change your clothes, take off your makeup, come on. Everyone's waiting just inside. Nobody's angry, hun, it's fine.
Live from the Dunkin Latte Lounge,